Welcome to TAFE Queensland Brisbane Product Development Induction Video Series. In this first video, I'll aim to provide a brief overview to four key things: our product, the roles involved, the process, and then we'll conclude by having a look at some examples of the product. So essentially, a product in most cases involves a set of learning resources and assessments for an individual unit of competence. The learning resources, in most cases, are a learner guide, which begins its life as a word-based document, which can be provided to learners so they can print or download as a PDF. But this learner guide is also converted to an online product. In addition to the learning resources, we provide assessments. In most cases, we might suggest up to 3 assessments for a unit of competence, where assessment 1 ideally is a self-marking quiz, which can also be incorporated into the online environment. The third part of this set of resources is the facilitator guide, which provides the teacher with sample answers for the assessment tasks, and also an assessment mapping matrix to provide an assurance that the assessments have addressed the unit of competence requirements. So essentially those learner resources and assessments are developed in stage 1. And there are 2 key roles in stage 1, a SME, which is a subject matter expert, and the content writer. For each unit of competence, we like to allocate both a SME and a content writer, and they work together to develop those resources. Stage 2 essentially involves the expertise of a product architect, reviewing those resources that have been developed and beginning to prepare them for stage 3, when a multimedia developer will convert them for online delivery. So another way to look at that is by following this visual. So we begin with the unit plan, and in most cases this is developed by the subject matter expert, because they are an expert in that unit of competence and in most cases are practicing teachers. The unit plan identifies things such as suggested topics and assessment tasks. That's then provided to the content writer, who actually develops the learner guide and assessments using our templates. The subject matter is experts involved along the way by providing feedback and in being involved in the validation. Once the resources are developed in stage 1 in a word-based document format, they pass on to stage 2. And as I mentioned, this is where the product architects review the educational soundness of the content and begin to prepare the material for stage 3, where it will be converted into an online format. Now, if you need a reminder of what some of the acronyms are, there is a link in your induction pack. Now, I'd like to finish this video with a review of an example of our product. So in your induction pack, there is a link to the examples, and these are updated quite regularly. So at the moment, the links will look something like this, and I'm going to walk through the learner guide and the online version of BSB WHS 401. So let's start by having a look at the learner guide. So as I've mentioned, we provide a word-based document template, and the content writer, using the unit plan, begins to develop the content. Just bear with me. And you can see it's essentially a bit like a book, where there are a series of topics, and these topics in general address the performance criteria and so on in the unit of competence. And the student can sort of read through the objectives, the various topics, They're enhanced with images. There are hyperlinks to external websites and additional resources such as government reports or industry websites or videos and so on. And the student might be prompted to engage in activities such as discussions. Each topic would also have, if you bear with me, a review at the end. And this is basically what we call a self-check and allows the student an opportunity to sort of assess for themselves how they're progressing. So you can see there's a series of questions and the answers are then provided further on in the print-based learner guide. Now we'll have a look at the same learner guide in the online environment. So I'm just switching over to TAFE Queensland's Learning Management System Connect. And this is the first page of that same unit. And the learner guide has been converted. I'll just use the next button. And you might recognize some of the graphics and graphs that were included in the Word-based document, the prompts for discussion. But of course we can add additional interactivity in the online environment, and the self-check is presented sort of as an online quiz where the student, as we said, can go through and do an assessment for themselves of how they're progressing. But of course these activities aren't directly accessible. They're just there to reinforce the student's learning. Well, that concludes this first video, but please take the time to review the additional ones because they delve into more detail the specific roles and responsibilities for the subject matter expert and the content writer, and how to approach developing your unit plans, your learner guide and assessments. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to get in touch with TAFE Queensland Brisbane Product Development. Thank you.